Good morning. Today we're looking at AGRI here. It's not looking too bad. We are sitting above that 200 EMA, but below the VWAP. This could be something that runs today. We've got PIC, which picked up pretty recently here. It's looking pretty decent as well. We are again sitting above that 200 EMA by quite a bit, so there's quite a bit of room to fall, but hopefully this does find some support levels somewhere around here and holds. We've got Genus here. It's a little bit cheap on that price point, but you know what? The range is kind of there. We're seeing some movement out of it, so maybe there's something here that we can take advantage of. Again, sitting above that 200 EMA. DPSI, we're not really going to worry about. Same with NCMI, Cavill as well. RKDA is not like too terrible, but the price action's still not really there. And ELTK we basically just have open because it did have a couple moments here where it did show some liveliness, so maybe that might come back with the market. So we'll give it the chance. Kind of the same thing with these other ones. There's really not a whole lot going on, but there might be once the market opens, so we kind of keep them open just to double check. DPSI is something I'm really not too concerned with, just because the price point, price range isn't really there, and we haven't really seen much at all for movement in the pre-market. At least even with other stuff, you kind of see some sort of price movement. Genus is on its way down so far, lots of selling pressure. That could change pretty quick. Same with PIC. AGRI as well. We are hitting that, looks like it's going to be heading straight to that 200 EMA there. So we're going to try and take a play off of that. So we're going to go AGRI. What's that? 285. We're going to try for $3. And then there's just a 280 stop. So we're going to give it a fairly tight stop. Essentially, you just want to get that stop below that 200 EMA, and if it falls, we'll cut it. PIC looks like it stopped dropping. Same thing with Genus. Well, Genus looks like it could maybe keep going. I'm not really seeing too much in terms of support at this level, so we'll give that one a minute. Same thing with PIC. We're not really seeing too much support at this level. We might need to come down a little bit more. We are starting to make a slight recovery off of AGRI here. Didn't quite get 285, but that's okay. We don't need super specific numbers as long as we can get that stop below. What's going on with this trade tracker? Why can't I click this button? There we go. As long as we can get below that 200 EMA with our stop, and it's probably no more than 10 cents. That's basically what we're looking for here. So we have AGRI. Looking good on AGRI here. We did see a low of 288 here, and it has shot up to 296, so we are doing pretty good here. Not terrible. I would like to see this break through that 90 main resistance line and keep going here pretty quickly. We are seeing picks start to come back. We could try a pick trade as well. Again, I kind of want to be pretty, well, for lack of a better word, picky for this one, but I would like to get in around that probably 217 mark. We're gonna aim for 240 because that's pretty reasonable, and it's quite a large price target as well. So I'm quite okay with that. And then we're also just gonna give it a probably a 211 stop. So that gives us a little bit of room below this support line. If we can't get that, the best thing we could do is probably take a play somewhere up here, and we're gonna aim for in the middle of these two. So Genus is coming down. Looks like it may reverse here, but again, we're still sitting in this area where there's not a whole lot to consolidate off of, so probably not going to end up touching that. We did see a nasty drop on AGRI, so you might actually stop out on that. We've got NCMI dropping hard, Cavill not doing anything, RKDA not doing much, ELTK also not doing much. Looks like we are seeing a little bit of a recovery off of that 200 EMA, so if you were patient and waited for your entry, you did get that 285 entry we were talking about. We'll have to see if it can recover from here, though, and PIC goes crazy all the way up to 238, so we're doing really, really good with this one. That was actually a lot faster than I thought we were going to be seeing the PT on PIC. I mean, I'm a little ahead of myself. We haven't hit there quite yet, but we're very, very close. I'm going to start to scale out here a little bit. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and send that message through. Genus looks okay. Again, still looks like it's falling. We do have a little bit of a support line here. We might see a bounce there. That's something to keep an eye on. AGRI, we did see a little bit of a drop here back down to entry point, and it is kind of holding on that 200 EMA, but I'm starting to get a little worried it's probably going to fall through. Regardless, our stop loss is fairly tight from that 285 entry, so I'm not super worried about it, but if I gotten a higher entry, I probably would have been a little concerned. Looks like it was the right thing to do to start scaling out. We are heading back down with this. We could try another entry here. We do see a lot of selling pressure, but I think I'm going to go ahead and open up another trade while we have a good price here, 218. Again, we're gonna try for 235 because we know we can hit that easy. And then just go for a 211 stop again. Just to keep the stop loss in the same spot. If we can keep scalping this for profits, I would definitely be okay with that. DPSI looking good. A lot more movement out of this than I thought there was going to be, which is kind of surprising given the pre-market data, but you never know. I guess it's on a tear right now. Not seeing much else with the other tickers. We are doing okay on pick again. We are up a couple cents here. AGRI still sitting around that 200. It looks like there's a little bit more buying pressure picking up now, which is definitely something we want to see. I would say we have to see how this candle closes. If it candles bullish, we'll stay in. If it doesn't, then well, there you go. We're gonna stay in. It looks half bullish right now, so we do have sell orders kind of stacking, but hopefully we have some buy orders to eat that up. Genus does look like it should bounce here. It's holding on this support line very well. It's kind of holding the same pattern as AGRI, so damn. It's risky, but we could try a Genus play. So we're going to go for 0.85. We're going to go for 0.90, and then a 0.83 stop. Yeah, 0.83. We can't really afford to give it more than 2 cents here. As much as I would like to give it a little bit more, that's about as close as I'm going to get it. As much as I'd like to give it a little bit more so we could get below this 200 EMA, that's really just a little bit too much for me. Pick all the way up to 234. I think we hit 235 there. We did. That is PT on pick. We could hold it a little bit longer. It does look like it's going to go up more. I'll be cutting the runner on the last one around 240. And I might cut the runner on this one around 240 as well. Well, we got to cut the runners either way. We got too much open right now, so. Just looking for a decent number to do it. All right, there's 244. That's a pretty good number. Try to type too fast and had a typo there, but that's okay. Oops, that was not where that was. Okay. Can it go higher? Yes, most likely will go higher. You could hold for a little bit longer and get a couple extra cents out of it. How much higher? That is the question. I am now fully out. So we'll just let this be. If it comes back down to that 218 level, I highly doubt it will at this point. It might come back down to like maybe 224, 225. I'd be really surprised to see it come back down the whole way. Genus still holding around that 0.86, 0.85 level. Not really moving too far. AGRI hits $3. We're at 303 on AGRI. That is PT on that as well. Looking good there. I am going to cut this trade because this one was worrying me, so I'll just take the small profits we've got here and run away with it. Could be a mistake. This looks like it could potentially start to really take off here, but I do want to secure the profits today. I want to make sure that we're hitting that. Once we hit that 50K mark, we can do whatever we want. We could risk it for the biscuit if we really want to, but until we hit that, I could rather play it a little bit more safe just to double check and make sure that we're actually going to hit it. Pick still holding up pretty well. AGRI still hitting that hitting 305. If you're still in it, it could go up a little bit higher. If you're out, good job. We've got Pick here looking like we've got a couple candles telling us it's going to come down. AGRI, I agree. AGRI definitely looking good. Yeah. Pick dropped. Yep. Oh, and Morning Scotland. I sometimes in the morning I have to sit on my other channel to pump the alerts out, so I don't actually get a chance to come over to the live trading for the first couple minutes, but I'm catching up now. What do I look for before re-entry? Definitely a pullback. I would say it's too extended. I would say that like we're pretty overextended on this VWAP. I would have to see it tested a couple times before I'd be okay taking a trade above it, and I'd like to see it make like I don't know a high around 315, maybe 320 even, and then come back down to retest. Here I feel like this is we just hit a nice pull up, and we're hitting the top here, and we're probably gonna curl down. So I don't know. Even if it tested here, I would still say it's a little overextended. This is sometimes where I get tripped up in the reverse of where you get tripped up, and I don't take a trade that goes well because of that. But at the same time, a lot of the time it does save me from making the mistake of jumping in just because it tested. Yeah, Genus is taking a drop back down to 0.85. Pick still looking good. A nasty drop on AGRI. That's our signal to go in. All right, so we'll get in 290. I mean, if you can get in a little lower, definitely get in lower. We're gonna try for 310. That's what I really want to hit, and then we're gonna give it a 280 stop. So same stop. Basically, I mean, if he can get lower than 290, go for it. I'm not quite sure if we'll get in lower though. What do I mean by overextended? Like it's just when things are overextended, like the stock. How do I explain this? It ran up already, so there's not enough buying pressure to keep it pushing it up, especially with a stock like this that showed a lot of weakness early on. Pick is definitely going. Yeah, Genus hit stop loss, so that's our first stop of the day. That should be about a 3% stop. Let me check. I want to see how close it was. 2.4%, so that's not too bad. We're actually up already to 30% today, so that's pretty good. Pick almost at 250 again. AGRI moving back up. Looks like we're going pretty good on this already. I mean, 310, it's going to be a hefty hit. It's going to be hard to get there because we haven't been there yet, but we'll start to scale out around maybe 305, something like that. Pick, yeah, pull down to VWAP. That's something we'll have to be watching because it did pull off to VWAP and then back up, so we'll have to make sure that that's... wow. I keep not looking at DPSI because I just don't think it's going to move, and every time I look back, it's halted again even higher. Makes that hard to play anyway, but... Alright, I guess I gotta call the stop loss. Okay. Genus continues its drop. Pick doing pretty well here. We need to get a better entry on Pick than this, so we're gonna go Pick. We're gonna try for a 235 entry. We're gonna go for a 260 PT and then a 2. The problem is we can't give this a huge stop loss. Let's give it 230. Yeah, DPSI is going pretty good. AGRI still kind of struggling around this resistance line. We have Pick at 251, hit a high of 257. It is going without us. I'm not going to FOMO into it, though. I'm going to tentatively wait for my entry because I don't know how high this is going to go. We've already got a decent amount of profits today. We're already at, wow, actually, we've already secured over $10,000. That happened quick. That actually happened really quick today. We're not even 15 minutes in. Yeah, about 10K already. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, Pick's definitely going without us right now. AGRI is not looking too bad either. It did come back down, consolidate quite a bit. I do think we're going to see a nice rise out of it again. The Pick train's going to leave without us, but that's okay. I'm going to start closing down these things that aren't moving. If they haven't moved in the first 15 minutes, they most likely aren't going to move. NCMY or NCMI, I'm not really looking to play either. Let's see what else. We got Ultra popping up. Actually, not bad. It's got a decent price. Actually, it's got a pretty good price range. I'll give it that. It's got a good price range. Price action's very deliberate, so that one's half decent. We might be able to make a play off that. I think that's it. Maybe JG. Not really. THCA. Again, not really. Salu. Nah. Okay, so we're stuck with what we got, which is fine. I'm quite okay with that. AGRI making its push to $3 again. Will it get rejected? It does have a lot of sell orders on the stack, but it looks like we pushed to that 305 mark. I'm pulling out here. Cutting AGRI here. Strictly because this is a huge push, and I really don't think we're going to get much more than this. We do have a lot of sell orders stacking up on us, and that was a huge, huge push. And yeah, anybody who's been trading with me knows like when something like that happens, I generally just pull it all out just because we're not really in the market for it to run further for that kind of stuff to happen. You usually want a bull market, and we're definitely not in one, so I'd rather just secure the profits. We got pretty close. That was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be, so I'm okay with that. If I miss out on some, that's fine. Obviously, it still hurts if you miss out on some, but we'll see. I don't trust it. We had a stock like this yesterday. What was it? MITQ that looked pretty similar to this. Just faked us out and then just didn't do anything the whole day. Well, the whole morning anyway. OTRA is still looking pretty good. It's too overextended for me. Pick has to start coming back down. I think our tentative price here. Um, where's that pick trade? Oh, there it is. I passed it. Our tentative price of 235 is looking unlikely. I think we're aiming for 240 right now, so just keep that in mind. AGRI still holding above VWAP here, so we saw a retest twice. It's holding so far. We haven't seen a new high hit, so I'm a little worried about that. We almost have a flat top, so we'll have to give that a minute. DPSI started today at $6 and it worked its way up to 860, so that would have been good profits, but I am seeing a little bit of spread. We're seeing, very sporadic volume. We had 1 minute where there was nothing. It could have been because of the halt, I guess. And then it, started dropping down. We went from 180K buyers to 80K sellers. Genus is definitely looking like it's curling up. AGRI does make a new high, so that's looking more bullish now. Now I'd be kind of tempted to take a trade on AGRI above VWAP. Maybe on the next retest, we'll see with a tight stop. So we'll go AGRI. Whoop. AGRI on VWAP, so 299. Try for 320, and then a 294 stop. Let's give it a 293 stop. Gives us a couple cents below that resistance line. I think this could definitely stop us out, but that's what we're aiming for here. Pick down a little bit. It's holding this 90 EMA really well. We can risk it on pick. So we're looking for an entry at 250. We're going for 270 and then a 245 stop loss. So we're going to give it a tight stop anyway. We're not going to give it a ton of room. We'll see if we can make something happen here. AGRI still holding pretty well here. We're aiming for 320. It's pretty far up there, but we don't really have any clear resistance to there. Might have a little bit of resistance here at 312, but that's the only thing I can see. Other than that, we're just waiting on buying pressure. Pick coming close to entry. It looks like we're getting that 250 entry. If you wait a little bit longer, I was going to say, there we go. That's right to VWAP. That's what we were hoping to see, so I'm buying in here at VWAP. I guess I should give them the actual price because a lot of people don't even know what VWAP is. So 245. We bought in at 245. Now we're just hoping it holds. So if we're at 245, we're giving it about 5 cents room. So we're bringing it down to 240 stop. I'm really happy with that entry. That's exactly where I wanted it to be. I just didn't think it was going to happen, and it did happen. So we are dropping a little bit on AGRI here. We aren't holding this VWAP line. That's not what I wanted to see. So I think I'm out. I'm going to cut it. Took a really tight stop on AGRI here, so definitely happy we did that. It did come, in fact, come back down to the stop loss. I am expecting to see this come down at least to 290 then. We could maybe try again at 290. We did make a new high. We haven't made a new low yet, so we're hoping we don't make that new low, but we are seeing probably a little bit more of a pullback. Pick back down to basically entry here, so we're hoping this one starts to pull back up. We do have a lot of room down here we could fall to, which is why we have a really tight stop. We don't want to see that happen, but we want to be safe if it does. OTRA is still not looking bad. We're seeing definitely the volume is holding, which is good. We did see a pullback to 291. Let's see anything new popping up. No. Well, we're probably not going to be playing Genus, I can tell you that. All right. We are seeing a curl up on AGRI. We could try an AGRI trade again now. I hate playing like this cat and mouse game of jumping in and out of stocks, but sometimes that's just how it has to be. Sometimes you just have to give it the room and hope that it happens. And so we're getting in at around 295. We're getting out at 310-ish, and stop loss at 285. We did see a massive hike, so hopefully y'all jumped in on that. We're at 306 already. 310 still, you know, a little out of bounds. We'd have to make a new high for that, but I am expecting to see a new high because we're making higher lows. And we have made a higher high this time, and we're making a higher high this time. Not quite to 310, very, very close though. Again, we got this huge green candle, so that's a selling signal. So that was, again, a very quick trade that made up for that stop. Even if you got in late, it made up for that stop. So hopefully y'all took some profits there. It's going to come back down. Hopefully we don't hit a new low. That would be ideal. If we can just hold a pattern here where we're, you know, heading on a trajectory like this. That's what we're basically looking at right now. That's what we're hoping that we keep seeing. Pick stopped you out. It's not looking good. We've got a lot of bearish candles in a row, so likely it'll stop me out too, but hasn't quite gotten there yet. You got out at 250. Oh, nice. So you made a little bit of money then? There's the stop. I did not make money. I lost money. Yeah, it is. I would say that it's probably going to hit a little bit of a pullback here. There's really not a whole lot for support down here, so maybe like 230 we could possibly see a bounce, but besides that, I'm not really sure with this one what we're looking at here. AGRI, we're looking for a decent pullback, probably, a couple more candles. We're looking at a 296 pullback or something like that. OTRA is pulling back. Salu's not doing anything. Genus isn't doing anything. DPSI still halted. We really only got these two stocks today to play. There might be LVLU. We can take a look at that. Price range is okay at best. Definitely okay at best. Yeah. Yeah, most of our signals are coming in for, oh, we got one for RDBX. Let's check out RDBX. That's not looking too bad. I mean, we might see a play off of 200 EMA here. This is kind of a lotto play, but I'm going to try it. RDBX, 380. I liked it at least $4, and then a 370 stop. We'll probably exit before 370 if I'm being honest. I don't think we need such a big stop, but it's there in case we get knifed on. This has been a series of knives, but we're hitting a very strong support area, so if this holds here, we could make some good money off it. If it doesn't hold, then we take a quick stop and move on. Pick still heading down. AGRI not wanting to give up that VWAP again. So still looking pretty bullish there. Genus is starting to curl up again. LVLU, meh. And then we have RDBX looking half decent. RDBX. All right, so we're at that VWAP line now. I got a much lower entry than I actually intended on, so I guess I'm just gonna keep the stop the same. If we hit it, we hit it. I kind of broke the rules. I bought in below that VWAP instead of right on it. And I was supposed to sell below the VWAP, but since we bought in below the VWAP, I would just be buying it to sell and, commissions and stuff. So we'll just hold. If it stops us out, it's not really a huge deal at this point, but it's not looking great. I was expecting this to hold at that support line. It is not. Got a little bit of buying pressure here, but I really don't think it's going to be enough. To save your capital, I would definitely say to exit this trade if you're in it. If you bought in, especially if you bought in around 280, definitely want to save as much as you can. If you did buy in low like me around 280 or 374, you could probably hold till stop if you want to. I would just say it's not looking good. Did see a drop on AGRI. That's probably our prime time to jump in on it. So we're looking at maybe a 295 entry. We're going to aim for that 310 again, and then a 2... I don't know, we'll give it 285. We'll give it the 10 cents it needs. We won't hold till this. If it starts to break this pattern, we'll probably just leave it. But it's there. We'll have to see. Giving us good entries. That's all we can really ask for. RDBX mic curl. Sorry, I keep having to mute the mic as I sneeze. RDBX does stop us out. Not a huge loss. It was worth a shot. Stock looked like it could potentially hold there, but it looks like it's going to be downtrending for most of the day from here, so we'll just let it be. LVLU starting to get spotty price action. Genus looking all right, I guess. Not really making much movement here. OTRA could go again. We're looking at about 1150 to potentially 1250. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of playing this price range, but we could try it. It's cheaper on fees, that's for sure. OTRA. I don't know. It's a little high right now. Yeah, you know what? I don't want to chase this. I'm anticipating maybe hitting like 12.50, 12.60, and honestly, if we're getting it at 12 bucks, it's really not going to be worth it. Pick's looking pretty good though. I think we could actually probably try another pick trade. Um, we're not seeing a lot of like super bullish price action yet, but we are seeing it hold price level, so that's good news. So we're gonna go for probably a low or a high 238. We're gonna go for about just go for 250 for a price target. If we hit it, great. If we can get more, fantastic. If not, we'll cut early. And then a 232 stop. I still think it could pull back down to 230, but I can't really bring myself to give it a larger stop loss. AGRI is still holding this pattern pretty well. I think it's about time to see that pull up, though. We saw, 3-4 candles before pull up, 3-4 candles before pull up, then we saw, a couple candles pull up. So I'm expecting this is the fourth candle here before the pull up. Pick looking good. Well, it's looking all right. There's our entry. Wiz, do you have a $300,000 trade open? 300,000 contracts? Nice, you're a millionaire. Man, 300,000 contracts? Yeah, that's a couple million right there. It's the new 3 billion eval, yeah. 41.5 mil minus? Yikes. Good luck telling the bank that. AGRI with a nice spike, we actually saw 309 again. Could have taken profits there. Definitely want to be taking profits around that price range. We did break a new high, which is a little concerning, but you know what? It actually held true. We saw that 3-4 candles and then a spike up. So this is usually the candle that starts the pullback. Let's see if that holds true. If so, we're playing like a perfect pattern here. Yep, there it is. It's like telling the future. Pick is a little sketchy, I'll give you that. I think we could definitely see some money on this, though, so I'm willing to hold it. Genius. There was a point where I actually bought this for like 50 cents or something, and then I think I sold it for like 3 or 4 bucks. Yeah, it was probably around here. Yeah, it was probably around there. 2020? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it was beginning of the pandemic. I think that's what it was. Could really, at the beginning of the pandemic, you could literally buy into anything and make money. Ah, yeah, the good times. Pick not looking good. That's stop. Um, Trigger finger got out a little bit quicker than stop, but really not a whole lot. There wasn't a lot of room there. So we did see a nice pullback, still holding that pattern so far. We're going to buy back in on AGRI here. We're going to be going in for a 298 entry. We could maybe get a little lower, but I doubt it. We're definitely going to want to hit that 310 this time, maybe even push it to 315, and then probably just a 290 stop, to be honest. We don't need a huge stop since we're holding this pattern. If it breaks through this pattern, if it broke through this resistance line here or support line, I would definitely be calling it a trade. See the bands that are starting to close in. This could be an increase in volatility. Could be ready to explode up. Maybe even hit that 315 mark. It's a little bit out of range here, that 315. I think we're a little bit off from hitting it. So if we get even remotely close, like 312, 313, I'll probably call it. What are we at here on the money board? 12,000. Definitely slowed down from this morning, but first 15 minute we made I think 8,000 or $10,000, and last half an hour, 40 minutes we made 2K. That's the dream. Work 15 minutes a day. That's why I'm dipping into futures. Ah, yes. Good call. Good call. Yes. Sometimes I think we start at 6 in the morning and not 6:30. So first 15 minutes we made 8K. Next 15 minutes we only made 2K. Something like that. Or 10K then 2K, I think is what it was. I think we hit 10K pretty quick there, and now we've only made 2.5K last 15 minutes, so. Genus curled. Everybody's so interested in watching Genus here. That's funny. Pick's looking pretty dead in the water right now. We've got AGRI making its push here, 307, 308. Not quite where I want to see it, so I'm still holding out. I think we have at least one or two more candles that could make a push here. I don't think we're quite going to get there this time, but we'll see. If we see a huge spike up, we'll just sell wherever it leads to. Genus, yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe it'll hit $1. It's looking unlikely at this point. I mean, first hour usually holds most of the volume, and we're not seeing a whole lot of anything. AGRI got a seller stacking up, but looks like we're pushing through. Ooh, never mind. That's a hefty amount of sellers on that side. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm calling it a trade here. Cutting AGRI here. Not afraid to jump back in later if I need to, but that was a huge wall of sellers. So we'll leave it as it is. We had a half decent trade there, so no reason to push it further. Under normal circumstances, I would have left it, but that was an insanely big wall, and we're probably going to need a couple more attempts to break through it. So when we dip back down, we'll try and see if we can get a good entry again, and maybe we'll see another better PT. There's like actual trend channels I could be using, but instead I like to draw it myself because I'm a noob. And if it's not perfectly even, it really bothers me, but we'll see. So we had a good spike there from the bottom of $3 to 308. Then we're pushing through that wall. There's that 310 we were talking about. So it does make that new high. Could push even higher here, but I don't think so. AGRI, we're going to go for that $3 entry. We're going to go for 315, and we're going to go for a 290 stop. Didn't get in here. That was too fast. 307 is not a terrible entry if we think it's going to run, but there's a huge wall of sellers stacking up, so I think we're going to get a good entry here. 303 is not terrible. Might be able to get more, though. All right, 299, 297, 296. All right, calling it there. Let's get in. Nice recovery back into the trend. Let's hope it can hold. I'll be worried if we start making any sort of low from here. Entered 296. Oops. Hey, there we go. Yeah, that could work. Entered 296 on AGRI. We're keeping the same stop loss, even though we got a really good entry. I don't expect this to break this trend. I think it's gonna hold. Press control and drag it. Oh yeah, I get what you mean. There we go. That's satisfying. I like that. All the little tips and tricks you can do with TradingView. Another thing is, why is this popping up now? I keep getting like pick a layout, and it never used to do that, and I don't think I clicked anything. I can't figure out how to change it back, and it's super annoying. And for a regular person, probably not that annoying to have to click that one extra button, but for me, oh my god, it's the end of the world. That extra 2 seconds it takes me to do anything really just slows me down. DPSI might curl up here, not really sure. Not looking like we've got a whole lot else here. All right, guys. It was nice trading with you. This is it for the streaming recap. We are currently sitting at $14,000. I'll update at the end here to show you guys where we're at. Besides that, thanks for watching, guys. Well, this is going to pretty much wrap up what we did for the day, but we look like we've made just under $14,000, bringing our total up to 47,000, starting from 500 here. So we're pretty much there now. I didn't expect today to be pretty much double what we did yesterday, but I mean, hey, if it works, it works. We're up 42% today. That's better than yesterday. Almost as good as the day before. I think that brings us to the end or the beginning of the week. Mondays are usually really strong. Actually, Wednesdays are pretty weak usually. Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays too. Actually, almost every day has been weak this past month. But yeah, we did pretty good. It's looking good. We're holding almost a 70% win rate, which is nice. I would call this kind of a lie though, because there's a couple trades where we get break even or slightly better, and if it's slightly better than break even, like even like 0.1%, it still counts as like a win and not a loss. And I don't count that as a win, but the tracker does. So we're probably saying around a 65% win rate with a close to 2-to-1 ratio, so not bad. But yeah, that's about it for today. So hopefully y'all made some money, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow.